Hi, everyone. I'm Ginny Robertson, the founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm here to share the panel portion of our Connections Over Coffee gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. Today, we have a panel of brilliant women who will share their thoughts and tips on what to do when you're feeling stuck. So welcome, Bessie Estonactoc, Claudette Gadsden, and Gina Hogan Edwards. Thanks for sharing yourselves with us today.
Happy to be here.
I'm going to turn. Okay, there we go. If you see me disappear for a minute off the camera, sometimes turning off the camera and turning it back on, we'll stop that for a minute. So first of all, I'd like to go around and have each of you just take a minute and tell me a little bit about yourself. So Bessie, I'd start with you.
Hey, hi everyone. So I am Bessie Estonactoc, and I'm a spiritual coach and hypnotherapist. And as an intuitive, as an empath, I help spiritual women entrepreneurs to learn how to be able to, trust themselves and know that they have a calling and a gift that they want to share with the world, but they're feeling kind of timid and shy to be online. And so I help them to learn how to be able to trust their innate wisdom, really tune into their sensitivity, and really understand that that any old stories no longer serve them, that they can just step into their feminine energy, their personal power. And I just help them be able to just tune into that more and more and more, to become more confident and courageous in sharing their business and their gifts with the world.
Thank you, Bessie.
Yeah.
How about you, Gina?
Hi, everybody. So happy to be here. All of my work is focused on supporting women and claiming their voices, creating safe spaces for that to happen. I'm a certified creativity coach. I'm an editor and a licensed Woman Speak Circle leader. I host writing retreats. Yay, can't wait to get back to those. And I also have a Facebook group called Women Writing for Change. So if you're a writer, I invite you into that. My clients are primarily women writers, and I'm a writer myself. Since writer's block is a big issue for all of us, I'm really excited about what we're talking about today. And even though my contributions are going to be coming from the perspective of a writer, I think that everything that women do is creative work, including our businesses. And so hopefully whatever I offer today is going to be able to apply to the rest of your life as well. So thanks for inviting me, Jenny.
Thank you for being here, Gina. And Claudette, tell us about you.
Hi, I am Claudette Gadsden, and I am honored to be here with you today. I am Coach Claudette, the conversation coach, and I help women create more clear and concise conversations because, so often we have these conversations and we can't figure out why they didn't understand or why we didn't get what we wanted. And it's really about creating the conversation that will make sure that you manifest what it is that you want. Because if you want yellow eggs, you have to ask for yellow, not orange. And I also I am innkeeper at the Temple in the Woods, which is a bed and breakfast off the beaten path. And my tagline is, it is a place to nourish your soul. It is truly in the middle of the woods, and it's a great place to just relax and to be you. And I'm also facilitator of the Richmond area Connections Over Coffee meetings. So I'm a little busy on a good day. And that is who I am. And as I said, I'm honored to be here on the panel. So thank you, Jenny, for inviting me.
Thank you, Claudette. And I'm going to stick with you for a minute. Please share how you know when you're stuck personally.
I know when I'm stuck when I am trying to convince myself that I should do something. Because for me, being stuck means it's not time to move. That's what it really means to me. It's not time to move. And so when I am trying to convince myself that it's time to move, then that's when I know that I'm stuck and I need to do something differently. And I start that by asking myself the question, is this something that I really want to do? Is this something that really has to be done? Because if it's not something that I really want to do or that has to be done, like my life's not dependent on it, then why do I have to do it right now? And so when I release that pressure of the stuckness, then I can do something about it.
So stuck, a feeling of stuckness can actually be a gift. I think you're
Yes.
saying, because it can tell us maybe where we're off course a bit, or where we're maybe trying to force something to happen, to put that square peg in the round hole, and it doesn't fit. It isn't ours to
Yes.
do. Okay,
Yes.
that's another way of
Yes.
looking at it. I really like that, kind of a positive
Yes.
spin on feeling stuck, instead of just feeling like we have to pull ourselves out of it, right?
Right. So I shared a story earlier quickly about adding a cottage to the property. And I was told that I needed to put it in the back. And I've been working on this for about a year, but I never felt like I needed to really move. And because I chose to just be in the space rather than, oh, I have to get this done now, they changed the ordinances in that time period. And now I get to put the cottage in the front instead of in the back, which works even better for me. Like, so,
Great story.
that's what it is for me. Like, do I have to do this now? No, let it go and stop pressuring myself to do something.
Okay, lighten up. Yeah. Gina, what do you want to add to that?
First of all, I love Claudette's positive perspective, take on that, because we always have something to learn from what's happening to us. For writers, I think stuckness happens in two ways. Actually, it's interesting. Kimbu and I just had a conversation about being stuck yesterday. I think there are some writers who look at writing as the enemy. They worry over what they're going to write before they even begin to write. They might even be losing sleep over the fact that they're not writing, or what are they going to write about? These kinds of writers tend to block out big swaths of time to write, actually to the detriment of everything else in their lives. And sometimes they'll like attempt to force the muse, kind of. And then there are writers who look at writing as a chore. It's like an activity to postpone or delay it. And these writers can appear to be like really secure or productive, but they're just really very, very busy. You know, they're doing their work, they're volunteering, they're being social, they're remodeling the bathroom, they're doing anything but writing. And very sadly, that's how it shows up for me. I get too busy. I busy myself. I'm a master.
Everything but right, huh?
Yeah,
Everything but,
exactly.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you for those wise words. And to anyone who's here thinking, well, I'm not a writer, this doesn't apply to me. Think about writing a Facebook post. Think about writing an email and how you might get stuck with those words or overthink. I think everything Gina said can apply to whatever we're writing, a grocery list. I mean, it just maybe not.
Well,
but, you know.
And I think even not, to not writing as well, but to like creating something in our business, or,
Yes.
Anything else that we might want to put out into the world. I think that both of those categories of stuckness can apply.
I agree. Thank you. Bessie, please add your perspective to this question.
Yeah, I love how Claudette and Gina have mentioned some of the things that I go through myself, but as a former therapist and now a coach and hypnotherapist, I like to look at spiritual coach. Understanding that we're made of energy and thoughts are energy. So if there is a feeling of like, oh, I got to do this. Oh, I need to get this done. All that energy of just need to, or shoulda, coulda, there is that push that happens. And if our mind is going, we got to do this and get this done, but energetically we're feeling like this frozen feeling or this knots in the stomach feeling, then it's a time to notice that. And so I think it's really important to notice that energy in our body. Could be we're feeling like I call it frozen, just kind of feeling frozen, can't think straight. Then it's like noticing, stop and notice, what am I feeling in my body? For me, it's a self-care moment. Time for self-care. So I'll stop and I'll breathe or whatever I need to do, but it's really noticing what's going on in our body, and then just taking some course of self-care, whatever that is.
Thank you. Self-care is such a big deal. And until we're quiet, we often can't even begin to understand, like what Claudette said, just, she gets quiet and she goes, is this even mine to do? Do I need to let go of this right now? If we're so busy, we can never actually tap into that intuition that's telling us whether it's ours or not. some of you have touched a little bit on this idea of why we get stuck, but Gina, do you have anything else to add to that? What are some of the reasons you believe we as women get stuck?
Whether a writer is in the stuckness, with it showing up as either the hand wringing or the running off to go do urgent tasks, something has gone wrong in the relationship between the writer and her writing. That something can be very particular and different for each one of us. And it might come from not being emotionally ready to write the thing. It might be not having the skills yet. Often it's receiving some kind of harsh criticism that shut the writer down. And again, I think these things can be applied to whatever it is that we might be doing. You don't have the skills, you're not emotionally ready. There's something else that's going on. But that relationship between the writer and her writing has somehow been altered. And for writers, I think that's how we get stuck. And so if you're stuck in some other area of your life besides writing, think about what is your relationship to that activity, and has there been a fracture somehow?
I really love that. It reminds me of something that I've been saying to women over many years. Somebody, Mary, would you please mute yourself? Something I've been saying to women over the years is that, when you have a dream, or it doesn't have to be a big thing, but something new that you want to do, really, really think a lot about who you want to share it with first. Because sometimes words from people who may or may not mean well can stop us in our tracks. We start to doubt ourselves. We start to doubt everything that we'd planned to do. And so when you talked about, it could be some criticism that we get, or somebody just saying, well, that's not going to work. And then all of a sudden you trust their words more than yours. And you're thinking, it probably won't work, or I'm gonna go do something else now. And then a year later, you're going, I never got that started, and it's still burning in there. So I think that's a really great point about all that outside influence. Yeah.
And we always remember, we could have 2,000 positive comments about what we've done, but we always remember the negative one.
Oh, yeah. I remember my first year as a professional speaker, we get these, I used to do a lot of things with Clemson University's professional development for women. I went to a lot of different cities, and they would do these things at the end, these, surveys, these, what do you call those things? I hate them. What do they call those things where they rate you? The word's not even coming to me. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, the evaluation forms.
Evaluation. Mm-hmm. And they would come in the mail this before the internet. And I had a friend, we were often on the same diets together, and we would call each other and say, okay, you opening yours, I'm opening mine. And it could be that every single person loved everything that I did, or at least they said they did. And that one person could have given me like a 3 out of 5 instead of a 5 out of 5. And I would live through that. What didn't they like? I wonder what I could have different. I wonder who they are. Oh, I wish I could talk to them. I mean, it just can be maddening. So yes, notice that, everybody. If you it's giving other people a lot more credit than they actually, I think, have earned, maybe is a good way to put that. Claudette, I'm going to go to you now and ask you, what is one of your best tips for moving forward, getting unstuck and moving forward? You've all shared a little bit of what you do, but I want to say, give me something different now.
So you said give me something different. So that's so I'm laughing at that because I tend to do the same things.
Well, then reinforce what you do. Reinforce.
So what I do is ask myself the question, why am I feeling this way? Let's start there. Why am I feeling this pressure about this thing? And why do I feel like I need to do this thing right now? And just recently, like in the last 6 months to a year, I've started asking myself the question, is my life in danger? Nope, it's not. So I don't have to do this right now. I think women, we tend to feel stuck because we're doing so much for so many different people that every now and then we come to the point where it's like, I don't want to serve another person. I just want to serve me. And so then we start to feel like, oh, but I really should be doing that. And I really should be doing that. And then you start to feel this sense of stuckness, when in reality, it's not even yours. It's somebody else's stuff. And let them do their own stuff. and you do your own stuff. And then your life will be so much better, right? Because I feel that when I'm happy, the world around me is happy. And if they're not happy, they're not my tribe. So I don't even worry about them. Like, why do we beat ourselves up so much for like what you just said about the evaluations? Like you have 10 people that say you're awesome and amazing, and one person criticizes, and then we focus on that one person. And like that one person, truth be told, they could just be miserable.
Absolutely.
It wasn't
And
their
just,
cup of tea.
right. It had
It's that
nothing
simple.
to do
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. I think there's a bumper sticker in there called it "Do Your Own Stuff." I like that.
There.
The this whole idea of giving, the people who don't love us all that power and attention. I also came to the conclusion after doing this for a bit that the good evaluations were no more true than the negative evaluations, because they're simply opinions. Now I could learn from them, because if the same people are saying the same thing, then maybe I want to pay attention, right? That's something I might want to shift, but they're all still just opinions. So I can't get all inflated about all the kudos any more than I should get defeated by the negativity. So that's a bit of a humbling experience sometimes to realize, well, I worked for them that day, but they may not be my best friend down the road. It's just in this moment. So Bessie, what's your best tip for moving forward and getting unstuck?
Everybody, all of us has a gift that they want to share with the world. I mean, there's that thing that comes like, oh, I really want to do this. This is something that really calls to me. That's our intuition. It's something that we've been doing probably forever, and our mind stops us, but I think it's important to remember that we have to take care of ourselves first, like Claudette said, and cannot do too much. We cannot do too much. We have to stop and really look at, first of all, believing in ourselves, believing in our intuition, and know that we have to set parameters on how to be able to take care of ourselves, so that we don't, if we're doing too much, we do get stuck. So for me, I'm a grandma, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a wife. There's so many, I take care of my grandkids. I mean, there's a lot of things that I do, but I always come back to balance. And I set an intention for myself every morning. How do I want to see my day go? How do I want to feel? And what are the 3 most important things that I need to get done today? Because my to-do list is long, but what's the 3 most important things? And really trusting our intuition on knowing that my day is going to go well. I'm going to balance it and set my intention and set some boundaries around that, because we can't do it all. So for me, there were two affirmations that came up today for myself that I wanted to share. With brave wings, she flies. I don't know who says that, but when we're brave and we believe in ourselves, we can accomplish things. But also, no man is an island. If I get stuck, I meditate and maybe go to my guides and my higher self, or I talk to my coach or a friend. And I really look at, if I can't see it for myself, I can talk to someone to really intuitively maybe get that download, or talk to someone to be able to see what I can't see, that blind spot. So there's a few things that I do, but those are some things that come from me.
Thank you. Thank you, Bessie.
Yeah.
Gina, you're going to get the final word here. So what do you want to say about how to get unstuck?
So again, in the context of writing, but thinking about how you can apply it to other aspects of your life, writing isn't linear, like a lot of things in our lives, right? So there's some general phases or stages that you got to understand, but the way that each one of us navigates that journey is going to be different. And I think that we've got to allow ourselves to be observers of ourselves and our process, both when we're in the flow and when we hit rough spots, so that we can determine ways that we can mend that relationship with whatever it is that we're doing. And in terms of writing, be able to transform that relationship from maybe the writing being the enemy or the chore. For some people, I think that'll involve tactics and strategies, like maybe rewarding yourself for having done a certain thing, like written a certain number of words or whatever. For others, it's going to be more of maybe an attitudinal or behavioral thing, like developing self-compassion, acknowledging self-care, things like that. It's usually, I think, a little bit of both, tactical and behavior attitudinal, but really giving ourselves a little bit of grace to sort of step back and observe ourselves. Or if we can't observe ourselves, like Bessie said, get a coach or someone, a friend, someone who can give us some objective feedback, and just recognize and acknowledge what your relationship is between yourself and whatever it is that you're trying to do. Like Claudette was saying, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is this really for me now? Is this really what I want to be doing? Is this what I need to be doing? And if it is, why am I not doing it? How am I navigating this? What am I doing to avoid doing it? So that you can do something about it.
Thank you, Gina. And I'm going to just repeat something Gina said for all of us. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself the grace that you extend to others quite freely and easily, right? Give that to yourselves.
Be your own best friend.
Yes, absolutely. It's not a cliche, silly statement, is it? There's a lot of depth to that statement. So I'd love for you all to unmute yourself so they can hear, our panel can hear your applause and your woohoos and all of that. So yay, thank you all. Thank you all.
Very much. It was wonderful. Thank you.
And I want to thank anyone who's watching this live or watching the replay. If you'd like to join us for one of our free Zoom gatherings a month, or an in-person in Columbia, Maryland, which is starting next month, Richmond, Virginia, or Tallahassee, Florida, comment below and I'll tell you how to do that. Or you can also go to my website, OPWGC.com, and find out all about the community. Thanks for watching.